Hi friends, let's finish our ocean scene picture. Now, here's what it's gonna look like when we're finished, but so far we only have our paper scraps that we cut out from last week, our wavy lines in blues and purples, and we have our little ocean creatures that we cut out last week, our octopus, our fish, and our turtle. So we have to kind of put these all together to make our final work of art. We're going to need a white piece of paper for the background, glue, and then later we're going to use our markers and our paintbrushes and a water cup. This little water cup, I just filled it a little bit, about halfway with water, and we're going to be dipping our paintbrush in the water and smoothing out the marker ink to make these nice little wavy water spots in the background and on our creatures. Let's start though by using our glue sticks and our wavy lines, and we're going to start to glue these down. Now we have a lot of these, so here's what I think I'm going to do. I am just going to place some glue down in my background about halfway on the paper from left to right, so I fill up this whole spot. And I don't want this to dry too quick, so I'm gonna have to work kind of quickly here to start taking my wavy lines and placing them down. And I'm gonna try and mix colors together. I want some different types of blues and purples mixing together here. And since I have a lot of glue, I can just press them right down. But as I start to overlap, they might not stick very well together, so I might need to add more glue if I want to maybe put this one on top. I'm gonna have to put more glue on top there. So let me put a little bit more glue on this bottom spot here so I can put a new piece of paper. And I can even cut these papers if they're not the right size. Like maybe I just want one right here, but it's too big. I can just rip it, put a little bit more glue. Actually, I want to do it this way. And then stick it down. So I'm trying to cover a lot of the white space, but if I see a little bit of white space, that's okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to cover it all. And now I'm going to put some more glue on the top half, all the way from left to right and top and bottom, so that I have enough glue to stick down some more wavy lines in my ocean. And if I notice that any of my papers are kind of sticking up like this guy, I probably just want to put a little bit of glue underneath to stick that down. I'm going to put a couple more, and then I think I'm going to be done with my background. You might not have this many pieces. Maybe you only cut out about 7 pieces last week, 5 or 7. Use your scrap papers to cut out more if you think you need to cover more of the background. You can even rip your scrap papers. You could just take your scrap paper and go like this and try and rip. Look, when you rip it, it makes kind of like a wavy line too that you can use. All right, I think I am done with my background. Now I'm going to glue down my sea creatures. And right now they're just white because we haven't painted them yet. We'll add color to them in a minute, and I'm just going to stick them down wherever. Need a big spot of glue for the octopus. I'm going to put my turtle up here, and I think I'm going to put my fish down here. If you have any other sea creatures, you can glue them down now too. I'm just going to put a little bit more glue so I can stick down some of those tentacles that are sticking off from the octopus. All right, I'm going to close my glue nice and tight. And now is the fun part. We get to use our paintbrush and our water cup and our markers to add some color. So I'm going to start by adding color to my sea creatures. And I'm going to use some warm colors first, some red and yellow. And I want to add red and yellow warm colors to my octopus, because we know that when red and yellow blends together, it makes a nice orangey color. And since red and yellow are close to each other on the color wheel, they're both warm colors, They blend really nicely together. I would not mix colors that are very far away on the color wheel, like a warm color plus a cool color. Those might not mix as well together. So stick to blending warm colors together or cool colors together. Ooh, forgot to add my yellow. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow here. This can be kind of random. You can just kind of scribble this color on. Now, here is where the magic happens. I'm going to take my paintbrush, dip it in my water, get a little bit of water on the brush, put my water cup down, and I'm just going to use that water now to blend the colors. You will notice as you start to put your water down, your marker color, the ink of your marker is going to start to bleed a little bit. That means it starts to spread out. Whoops, my paintbrush. Stick that back on. All right, I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. As the water starts to soak into the paper, it's gonna start to blend even more. So we'll watch the magic happen. I'm gonna add some color to my other sea creatures next. And for the fish, I'm gonna blend some cool colors this time. I wanna blend blues and purples for my fish down here. So I'm gonna add some blue and some purple. Kind of scribbling it on there. Take my paintbrush, get a little bit of water on it, and start to blend the colors. Ooh, this is working really well. I can kind of see the colors blending. Blue and purple are both cool colors, so they blend really nicely together. All right, let's let that sit for a minute and see what it does. And then I think for my turtle, I'm gonna blend green and yellow. I know that green and yellow are a cool color and a warm color, but they're actually close together on the color wheel, so they do actually blend pretty well together. So these will be okay. If I used purple and yellow though, ooh, those would not blend. Those are very opposite, and they actually make gray when they blend together, so I don't want that. I'm gonna use green and yellow, my turtle, and then use my paintbrush. Blend those colors a little bit. Smooth them out. Okay, let that sit. Nice. All right. Now, what I'm gonna do next is I'm actually gonna use my blue and purple, and I'm gonna add some marker in the background and kind of blend it out to make it look a little bit more watery in the background, since this is an underwater ocean scene. So let's try that in the white spaces, or you can even go on top of some of your color paper. I'm gonna put some blue down. Definitely trying to cover the white spaces here. And some purple. Some wavy lines of purple. Purple is so dark, it will definitely show on top of the blue paper. All right, finally I'm gonna use my water one more time with my paintbrush. Dip, dip, dip. And smooth out the marker. So when I add water to marker, it kind of reminds me of watercolor paint. It's not as blendy and dark as watercolor paint, but it works kind of the same way. Ooh, can you kind of see it starting to blend? Ooh, really cool. Let's check on our animals. Do you see my colors blending in here on my animals? Check your animals. Do you see the color blending on your sea creatures? Wow, that's awesome. I love it. It looks great. All right, last step. If you would like to add any details into your ocean scene with your scrap papers, you can do that as well. I used red scrap paper for some coral. there's a lot of coral under the ocean. I used green wavy lines for some seaweed. Look at how my seaweed is kind of going over and then behind some of my animals. It makes them look like they're moving through the seaweed. I like that. And then I used some yellow for the sandy ground on the ocean. I even put some little texture sandy dots there with my marker. So you add whatever other details you want with your scrap papers and your scissors and your glue. All right, friends, I can't wait to see your ocean scene. I hope you had fun today.